I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, it is, what night is it tonight? It's Thursday. Dave Ramsey. 5 years ago, my girlfriend is $450,000 worth of debt. Let's hear it.
Hi, Gabriel. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I have a $65,000 in a theology student loan that I took to become a pastor.
Okay, so it sounds like he said he had a $65,000 student loan to become a pastor. Okay.
And I'm working as a pastor, and I'm bringing home about $45,000.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's doing better than a lot of us that majored in something and we never worked in the field. So kudos to him for that. $45,000 he's making. Spent $65,000. Could be worse.
And I have a girlfriend that she's going to dental school, and she'll be done next year. And she's gonna come out with $450,000 on debt. And
all right. So he's got a girlfriend, and we can tell from the title, $450,000 worth of debt. I say we take a moment of tea or a drink of your mango. Okay, let's inhale deeply.
And so I don't know where to start. I just started watching you on YouTube a few weeks back, and I just want to know where to start.
Young man, I can tell you where to start. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. Dental school. Yeah, dental can pay well, but it seems like, I've seen this on the Dave Ramsey Show, we have a lot of dentists and just buco debt. It's making me think. Let's see, there was backing up for a second here. There was one Dave Ramsey Show where a dentist owes $1 million. $1 million. Okay? I can't even fathom that for dentistry. And I'm not, I love my dentist, okay? I pay a little bit more insurance premium, in fact, so I can keep my dentist because I've had this office for 20 years and I really just don't want to change. So I'm going to probably pay an extra, $300 a year to have my particular dentist, all right? But it seems as though a lot of dentists are really in debt. The debt that they're getting into is not proportionate to what they make in the dental field. Now, maybe that's just, I happen to run into more broke dentist, podcasts, news stories. I have a knee doctor and I've never heard, broke knee doctors. Not saying they don't exist, okay? But it just seems like in proportion to other medical types industries, okay, that we might consider higher status, it just, excuse me, it just doesn't seem like, it seems like dentist gets a lot of bad publicity or promotion or whatnot. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
So she graduates in 2 years? 1 year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In 2 years?
Wait, okay, so people really don't know. Okay, this is from 5 years ago, so this was 2 years before the pandemic, which basically means she, if everything stayed on course, she graduated in 2020, approximately, I'm just approximating here, the year the pandemic started. Wow. And if they're saying she's supposed to graduate in 2 years, but you really don't know the student loan bill until you graduate. You can estimate, okay, we can say, $450,000 of debt, that can be the target. That just almost seems scary to say that. And that is the targeted goal, $450,000, okay? But if that's the target, it could actually be higher than that.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Okay. When do you think you all will get married? Have you thought about that?
Married? Okay. I don't think they should. I don't think he should get married to her until she is able to show him that she has the capability to pay it off. In other words, how big is her shovel going to be? And how hard is she going to work? Remember, and I will link it at the end. I did a story just a couple days ago on a 30-year-old lawyer, okay, totally debt-free, And he talked about the hell he went through. And his exact words were this 30-year-old lawyer, okay, and it was a podcast he was doing out of his home, okay, it wasn't related to a Ramsey call or anything like that. But this 30-year-old lawyer had gone through 2 failed engagements, and the number one reason, not the number one reason, the reason he gave is, one of his engagements had a PhD, but a $200,000 student loan from NYU, I think that's New York University, I think, okay. Basically, he said he went through, quote, it was a, quote, blood bath for him to clear his own, 200 or so $1,000 debt. And he could not see himself making those sacrifices again. He talked about he sacrificed his morals, his values. He just really had to go down the rabbit hole of hell to get out of that. And he never wanted to go through it again, and he didn't want to go through it again with someone he loved. This chick, I don't mean chick as in a disrespectful way, okay, but this chick, all right, $450,000. That's 2 rabbit hell holes, and with some dirt left over to start another one. I would not touch if I were him. Okay, he's a pastor, so the income isn't going to come from him. Okay, making $45,000 a year, starting out what a middle school teacher makes. All right. I wouldn't touch it until, if I were him, I would wait until she shows that she even has the ability to pay it off. Because without the ability for her to even pay it off, what type of life is he going to have? I think there's always some hesitation also that it's being selfish. Well, you don't really love that person because you're not willing to go into $500,000 worth of debt, even though you only make $45,000 yourself.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably by next year, December next year.
Okay.
Okay. This is tough questioning. Not judging, questioning. Okay, it's all judging to some extent, I admit. So this woman is supposed to rack up. It says she has. She hasn't even finished school yet. For all we know, this is over 500,000. We'll be kind and stick with the figure that we see. She has not graduated from school yet. She has not proven her abilities in the field that she is going to major in. She has not shown just how hard she's willing to work to clear that debt, and you're thinking of marrying her and possibly having a kid with her. I mean, he didn't say anything about the kid, but I'm just kind of assuming, it's the church pastor and, the lovely wife and all of that, okay? Her student loan debt is probably worth more than the church building.
All right. Well, before you're married, we don't combine anything, but after you're married, we combine everything.
Is it just me? Or just the fact that he's, like, you're even talking about marriage? Again, $450,000 worth of student loan debt may not be a bad thing if you have a huge shovel. He's coming in with a middle school teacher salary. She's not even done with school yet. Oh, this is, whoo. Okay. I'm gonna be judgmental here, politely judgmental. Okay. I would run so fast from this situation. Okay, I would break an Olympic record. And here's another thing to consider also. Okay, as the guy, I'm going to be sexist. So let's put all the feminists aside just for a minute. All right, let's not talk about equal rights and all that stuff right this minute. Let's just be momentarily. We're going to be momentarily based on the sexes. He, as the male, okay, is in sexist society supposed to be the breadwinner. How is he going to be the breadwinner at $45,000 a year, even if they're living in the parsonage? Is that what it's called, a parsonage? Where the pastor and the family live, okay? How is he supposed to be a breadwinner when you're bringing on a woman with $500,000? Let's just say it's $500,000, because by the time, what, 450,000, 500,000, what's the difference? Because the interest will reach it to 500,000 in no time. How is he supposed to feel like the man of the house? Now, that's a better way of saying it. How is he supposed to feel like the man of the house when he's bringing on someone with so much debt in relation to what it appears their family budget is going to be? How is that going to improve his self-esteem in the long run as a man? Okay, that's something to seriously consider. And I'm telling you, once a kid's brought in, game over with this amount of debt. So I'm just kind of, I mean, if I'm looking out for him, I'm looking out for her too, but I'm really looking out for him. How is this supposed to make a man feel like a man? I mean, if it were making a good six figures and this was, okay, I got $450,000 worth of debt, but I'm sitting on a bunch of assets or a big enough asset, I can sell that. In other words, I got stocks, I got bonds, I got retirement, yada, yada. Okay? This is not the case. This is not the case. I don't see how a young man bringing on someone with this much debt, and how is that supposed to make him feel like a man?
So between now and the time you're married, you need to save money for the wedding, and you need to work extra jobs. Because
hold on just a second. You ever watch these things and you just want to start screaming at the TV? You're like, no, don't do that. No, how can you say that? There should be no wedding. No wedding. None. Zilch. No wedding. She has not proven herself. She has not proven how hard she is willing to work for this degree. He has not yet experienced just what it is that he wants to work for. It's kind of like they've been playing house. Yeah, they may not live together right now, but to some extent, okay, they've been playing house because she's been living off of what? Student loans. He's been living off of what? Student loans. Between the two of them, she's got 450, he's got another 65. This couple could wind up with $750,000, $1 million debt in the next decade. This is a runaway interest train. A runaway train. His is still manageable and doable, all things considered, okay? That's going to be difficult. This woman has done nothing to prove herself to be wife material. She hasn't. She has done nothing. And I don't mean that like, I'm sure they've known each other a while, they've gone out and they've dated, but that's playing house. She has not done anything that shows she's willing to get so much as she's willing to get rid of, $25,000. Can she get rid of $25,000 of that on her own? I sure hope they didn't get married. And I'm just kind of itching and scratching because they're talking about marriage, and I'm thinking, where's Dave's brain right this minute? Because Dave's like, well, now when you get married, all your debt. Dave should be saying, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Because a lot of pastors are bivocational, as you know, to earn money, and that kind of stuff. Okay, so and you throw that all at your debt, and you clean up as much of your.
This isn't going to work. Not going to work. She's coming with, okay, usually, Dave and I can kind of agree with what he says. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I feel like right now I'm on two different planets. It's like, what happened? Shouldn't Dave be saying you do nothing until this debt goes down? I guarantee it to you. I would, can't say I guarantee it. I'm willing to bet a paycheck this girl cannot pay off a $500,000 degree by herself in dentistry. Okay? I'm willing to bet she can't do it. And the fact that they're talking marriage and she still has another year and a half of school, what's the debt going to be?
Debt as you can possibly clean up.
How much debt can a pastor making $45,000 a year and a woman with $450,000 and no job, how much debt can you clean up?
That's your goal. And then from there, you, as soon as you all are married, the two of you begin to attack the debt.
Isn't this just one of those where you kind of want to reach your hand, and throttle the TV screen or something? There is no relationship right now. There should be zero relationship with this huge of a debt. Absolutely no relationship. You know what? I had $110,000 before mine was forgiven by PSLF waiver in 2022. I would not have blamed a man if he had said to me, Carrie, you're lovely, gorgeous, beautiful, smart as all get out, but honey, you got $110,000 in student loans, and you're a middle school teacher, and your loans have gone up from 85,000 to 110 over the 16 years you've had them. And you know what? I'm debt free, or if I'm not debt free, I have manageable debt, and I can get myself out of my student loan. But I don't see how you can. I would have blamed him. I would have blamed the guy if he said no, no dice. I truly would not have blamed him. Now then, there is one little twist in my situation. I have a condo that is paid off. Now here's where things can get different. I have a condo that's completely paid off. Bought it for $100,000 in 2020, just literally 3 weeks before Tampa closed due to the pandemic. I bought in 2020 for $100,000. It's now selling briskly, like you can't keep these on the shelf here in Tampa, at $200,000. Technically, okay, let's say I'm in love and we want to get married. I have this $110,000 student loan, okay, but I have an asset. We could, boom, wipe out the student loan with money left over. When I talk about, is there any sort of asset, okay, yeah, it'd be nice to have had the $100,000 for our relationship instead, okay, but we don't. But I'm sitting on an asset that would and could pay it off. If it absolutely came down to the difference between, us entering as a couple with little to no debt, manageable debt, or us entering as, a pastor making $45,000 and his girlfriend with $450,000. I'm surprised how casual David Ramsey is about this. I mean, I've heard him get more upset over someone leasing a car. I lease a car, and I've heard him just lose it over people who lease cars. So I don't know, maybe there's something in his water today, but I've heard him just okay, over people leasing a car. Meanwhile, this guy has this woman with $500,000. Well, let's just call it $500,000. Let's call it what it is, okay? With $500,000 in debt. And he's like, well, now, before you guys get married.
Yeah, with a vengeance. And she does not need
a vengeance. You still need the money to do it. And here's the thing. You're going to marry this woman, and you don't know if she's going to work as hard as you will? That's the big test. Will she work as hard as you? I have, when I was in college, a friend of mine, okay, former good friend of mine, was married to someone, and they had been married for a while, and he was a really hard worker, very, very hard worker. And I was mutual friends with both of them. And literally the year she graduated, she divorced him. Gone. What'd he do? Paid for her apartment while she was going through school, paid for all of her, food, transportation, paid for part of her tuition. Basically, as soon as she was done, it was like, I don't need you anymore, and she split. That was one of the first times I ever seriously lost respect for someone. I was like, wow, you left your husband, who's a great guy, okay? I'll never say who he was, but he was also a friend of mine. Unfortunately, over the years, we've all lost touch, but it's been like, a couple decades now, a few decades. But I remember that this pastor has not vetted how hard she's willing to work. And even if she's willing to work hard, he has not gone through the bloodbath of trying to pay this bill off. If a lawyer, which is the video I'll put at the end, if a 30-year-old lawyer describes paying off $200,000 loan, which I believe was the amount that he had to pay off, if he describes that as a bloodbath, and he said, I would never want to walk that again. He said it was so hard. You're telling me that this woman coming in, okay, $500,000, just $500,000 in debt. That's not a double bloodbath?
need to act like she's rich. She's not. She's broke.
Yeah.
She's $450 freaking $1,000 in the hole. She's broke.
She can't afford beans and rice. She can't. There is no beans and rice here, okay? This is called seltzer water. Seltzer water diet. Maybe stirring a little ramen noodle every now and then.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna, get her out there making $100,000. You're making 40.
Something I just thought about. What is he in love with exactly? This is something I would actually say to him. What are you in love with? Are you in love with her hard work ethic? She hasn't shown it to you. What's amazing, and I've watched a lot of student debt stuff. Hence why I have a student debt channel. Working hard in school to get that degree is a different type of motivation, and it's a different type of eagerness, and I'm going to get in there because I want to wear that cap and gown, versus working hard after the degree is done. It's like, I got to do another night at Starbucks. You mean I have to go work at Target and then I have to go do my day job? These are two types of working hard, and this is why excuse me, this is why I think he should wait till a couple years after she is done with school. Let's see where she's at. Has that student loan debt gone down? Has she worked as hard out of school as she has worked in school? Because people will claim, oh, I'm going to work really hard, but that carrot that they're working for is that cap, that gown, that degree, diploma, certificate, that job. But once it's all handed to them, okay, here's the cap, here's the gown, here's their degree, diploma, and here is your $450,000 student loan. Now, let's do some fast math here. When I had $100,000, okay, without without income based, it was basically $1,000 a month. Without income based, it was actually a little over 1,000. But let's just say it's 1,000. People, do the math. 450,000. Every 100,000, just estimate 100 to 110. We're just going to keep it simple. We're going to estimate a $1,000 payment for every 100,000. So that would be, she's at $4,000, and this is 450,000. This household is looking at, just in student loan payment without it being income based, they're looking at probably a $4,500, $5,000 student loan payment. What vengeance are you going to attack that with? To give you an idea as to how much that is, I recently became debt free. That's approximately 3 months worth of living for me. Okay, that's approximately 3 months. Now I'm eating some ramen noodles there, and maybe some oatmeal with blueberries and a banana, frozen blueberries because they're cheaper. But think about the monthly payment. I don't know where Dave's brain is, because he flips out when somebody like me says, and I lease a car at $375 a month. It's a Toyota Corolla. It's got, walkaway wear and tear warranty. It's got tire coverage, and it's, how could you lease a car? Leasing is fleecing, yada, yada, yada. But he's ready to send this guy to the gallows, saying, sure, go ahead and marry this woman with $500,000. Yeah, okay. By the way, I'm a leasing fan, so yeah, I've bought cars most of my life. I only started leasing a couple leases back, and I fell in love with it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it. I'm smart enough. If I feel like I'm getting kicked around, I'm not going to do it, all right? But I have heard him just, and then he wants to scream at people who buy what is a whole life insurance. He will lose it over that. But he's not losing it over this. Something that could put this guy potentially in indentured servitude for the rest of his life, especially if they have a kid together. Now, some people will say, well, yeah, but his name's not on the student loan. I've said it before, people, and I will say it again. When you combine, it is one income, okay? I'm not going to marry someone with kids and go, okay, well, you're going to pay for this child's dinner separately, and you're going to pay for their birthday and Christmas separately. No. It's okay. We got it in the family funds. Pull it together. Do it. Your kids, do it. That's my attitude. So, ARG.
We're going to work through these student loan debts. It's our sole goal, our only goal. We're going to completely focus on it.
They got no money to do it with. They got nada. You are talking a student loan bill, minimum $4,500 to $5,000 a month to try and pay that off. I wish I had Alexa here. I got Alexa behind me and scream, how, at $450,000, how many months would it take to pay it off, even in 10 years, okay? I mean, What is there to attack with? You're going to war. This young man is going to war naked. He got no shield, and well, maybe he does have a shield, but it's got, man-sized holes in it. His bow is limping. Don't take that the wrong way. That was totally unintentional, okay? When I record this stuff, I don't think about it. I don't think about it ahead of time. Well, I guess if his bow isn't limping now, it's going to be limping. Okay, don't take it out of context here, okay? Stay focused, all right? Nothing, as far as I'm concerned, is going to take down his manhood better, though, than a woman with $500,000 in debt. $5,000 a month, I guarantee you, would be the minimum that would be needed on this. Guaranteed. I don't even have to bet a paycheck on it. I know it. Mine was 110. Mine was supposed to be something like $1,100 a month. So that was pretty easy. I go, okay, basically, so for every $100,000, right? Okay. What are they going to attack? And by the way, while they're attacking this 5,000, and that's her portion, so let's just throw in his. Let's just make this one big happy, $5,000 to $6,000 a month student loan. What are they going to attack it with? There are some things that are so big, you realize you don't have a tank big enough to go at it with. That's the problem. And Dave's so casual about this. Oh my God! If I called Dave and told him I was leasing a Toyota Corolla, I'm sure I'd get the 10th degree.
And we're going to be, that's all we do.
And we're going to do it with gazelle intensity, but we got no gazelle to do it with, so it looks like we'd be walking.
And we're not going to spend any money. We're not going to be buying
nothing to spend.
a house. We're not going to be buying a bunch of stuff. We are baroque.
No, they're not just broke. See, when I think broke, sometimes I think, okay, you're broke, but you maybe have $20 a week left over. I've been that broke. When I lived in Salem, Oregon, okay, $20 a week is what I had after my paycheck was all done. Okay, I got this fuzzy chair, that I'm sitting on. I think maybe I need to get a different chair, because sometimes this fuzzy chair, pokes through my dress and scratches me. Okay, well, that was totally off topic. All right, back on topic. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I've been so broke that I had $20 at the end of the paycheck, and that's what I had for a week. I had $20 a week. I lived like that for probably a good year in my 20s.
Baroque. And we've got to pay this $450,000 off, and this
They don't have any money to pay it with. Literally. They had no money to pay it with. Even if they lived at home, pooled all their money together, their parents paid all the bills, they still, I don't believe, would be able to come up with $5,000 to $6,000 a month to cover $500,000 worth of student loans between their two debts. Okay? And God help them if this is on income based. If it's on income based, there is no paying it off. Does this young man not see this?
$65,000 off, right? I mean, you're going to have
And sometimes Dave's math just kind of deletes taxes. It deletes, emergencies. It's just kind of, and if she makes, she can get 100,000, and you can, let's say, what is it? She can get $100,000 job to start. Let's just round off his to 50, and you got your 50,000. He'll say something like, you just live on 50,000. Delete her 100,000 every year, and you'll be done in 4 years. Well, if that was the case, we could have taken my $110,000 student loan. I could have said, well, you know what, I'm making about $50,000 a year. I'll just live on 25 and knock it out in 4 years. Why does that not work? Because it's not real life.
a household income of 150 living in San Diego, give or take, right?
When I was married, we had a household income of a little over $100,000. It didn't mean crap. It really didn't. Especially when the money isn't managed correctly. I'll make as a side note, after I got divorced, and I was able to manage my own money, I'm actually in a way better spot now. So divorce doesn't have to be the financial end of it all. Okay? So, anyways.
Yeah. And you got $510,000 worth of debt.
And probably by Ramsey's math, it should all be paid off in 5 years.
That you got to, and you can do it, but it's going to take you, 3, 4, 5 years.
Oh, let's give a standing round of ovation. What did I say? By Ramsey's math, I've made a lot of videos, but this moment right here, that's the ticket. What did I tell you? By Ramsey's math, every student loan problem can be solved if you just leave out the taxes, leave out all the medical bills, leave out the insurance deductibles, leave out all your transportation needs. All right. That was a standing ovation moment for myself. What did I say? By Ramsey's math, this will all be done in 5 years. Of course. And by Ramsey's math, my $110,000 student loan should have been knocked out in no time. Right? I make $50,000. Well, Carrie, just, live on 25 because we're going to forget about taxes and property insurance and everything else. You take the other 25, put in your account. I should have been done something like 12 years ago. What the hell took me so long?
And
I'm going to play that again just because that was a worthwhile moment. Hold on. Play it again.
But it's going to take you, 3, 4, 5 years, and hopefully her income will come up even above that.
What did I talk about yesterday? People, what did I talk about in yesterday's video? Do we remember what I talked about in yesterday's video? At least I hope it was yesterday's video. I think it was. I said to you, do we make a budget based on hope? Shake your head. No, we do not make a budget based on hope. I swear that was yesterday's video. I'm trying to make you guys happy and come up with content, but now I'm getting my videos all mixed up. But I know I said it. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Okay? Do we make a budget based on hope? And here he'd be balling me out for leasing a Toyota Corolla. All of a sudden, a Toyota Corolla lease seems like the least of his problems. If I wanted to buy the car afterwards, it would take me 11 to 12 months to pay it off. Do we make budgets based on hope? Hopefully she'll be making that. What happens if she doesn't? And what happens if she can't do it fast enough to keep that interest from compounding? This interest is going to spiral. This is faster than water downhill. This is going to spiral out of control. And well, she might be making, that's no way to budget, and that is no way to budget a future marriage. Well, I hope she makes this. Well, what happens if she doesn't? And there's a very good likelihood that she might not.
With a $450,000 debt.
But you better not call Ramsey and tell him you've got a $375 a month car lease.
Unbelievable. Wow. Just takes my breath away.
But again, you better not call Dave Ramsey and tell him you have a $375 Toyota car lease.
Hey, guy.
Okay, let me go ahead and expand this. Well, this was might entertaining. Young man, if you should see this video, I want you to take it from a 56-year-old. There's a reason they make tennis shoes called Speedos. There's a reason the phrase, run, don't walk, or something like that exists. Here's the bottom line. If I could talk to you, okay, one-on-one, I think until she has proven herself a few years out of school, and you've had a chance to see how she really responds to real-world situations, real-world debt, the hours that are going to have to be pulled on her behalf, because you're going to go in as a joint team. But you also want to focus on your career, which is a pastor. Don't marry at this point. Don't marry. If in 3 years that bill is not lower, in 3 years, that's what I would say. If that bill is not significantly down, I would walk away. One thing you learn when you get older is love alone doesn't work. There has to be a joint strategy. There has to be a joint meeting of the minds. They've been playing house. Okay? Oh, we are in love. Okay? No one's held a job yet. You haven't really seen how hard I'm willing to work. We don't even know how hard this dude's willing to work. He's got a $65,000 loan himself. Is he going to let that loan build? Or has he even proven to himself he's willing to get out of debt? We don't know. But I know she certainly hasn't proven it, and I'm not saying she's not a lovely woman and wouldn't make a lovely pastor's wife, but what I'm saying is she comes with $500,000 worth of debt and she hasn't had to do a thing yet. It really is true when the motivation and the long hours people are willing to put in to get a degree is different than the long hours you will work afterwards. They are not one and the same thing. And I will tell you, in my broke years in my 20s, I was working an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. I got off at 5 p.m. Actually, I lived in Los Angeles for a very short period of time. It was like 6 months. I was in my early 20s, 22, 23. So I worked at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Got off the job, ran to my little studio, okay? Ate dinner really quick. I think took like an hour nap. Got to my next job at 8 p.m. I worked the 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. So I worked a job and a half. Then at 12 midnight, I got off, ran home, and was back at work again at 8 a.m. I did that 5 days a week. I think I had Saturdays off, and sometimes I worked on Sunday. It was the call center job, was the 8 p.m. to midnight. It was the call center job. This was a couple of years before I filed bankruptcy on credit cards, okay? And I was able to file bankruptcy on credit cards. You can't file on this. And if God help them if they go on income based. And here's one thing I'd also say to this guy. Did she make loan payments during the pandemic? Because I have a hunch this is a combination of federal and public. Because I don't know if you can get $450,000 just a loan on federal. I'm suspecting that's maxed out. Okay. Did she work during the pandemic? Did she get up every morning? She was first on looking for a job. She worky. She pulled on 12, 15 hour days. Did she do that? Or did she say, hey, you know what? We're in a student loan moratorium, so I don't need to do anything right now. And you held hands and you walked along the beach. What'd she do? If that loan did not lower during the pandemic when there was no interest, if that loan did not lower during the pandemic, if she wasn't working 15-hour days, and even though people can say, well, the debt's in her name, not his, yeah, but he's got to have to support her because every dime that she brings in has to go to the debt. Remember I told you in another video, student loans will run your entire life. Student loans will dictate everything. Debt will dictate everything if you don't have a shovel big enough to control it. Debt will be the dictator of everything. Debt in their case is going to dictate literally every aspect of their life. What car they drive. Can they afford to go on trips? No, they cannot. What type of food are they gonna be able to afford? Thank God maybe he'll be able to get a parsonage somewhere. I wouldn't wish this on an enemy, and I know if he were a friend of mine, I would tell him, look, wait 5 years. You don't even need to wait 5 years. You can look now and see, did she do anything during the pandemic? Okay? How hard was she willing to work? So, something to think about. All right, people, leave it to me to take a 3-minute video and make it almost 40 minutes. Oh, my Lord. Okay. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. All right. So, anyways, tomorrow's Friday. I may or may not upload tomorrow. I probably could take a day off. So, if I don't upload tomorrow, I will for sure be back this weekend. I'm undecided on Fridays. Fridays are going to be kind of those questionable days. I got to kind of figure out a routine for myself. So, I may or may not upload content tomorrow. But I will for sure be back on Saturday and Sunday if I don't upload tomorrow. Okay? I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you will consider subscribing and have a beautiful Thursday evening. Bye.